Max Verstappen took a huge step towards defending his F1 title after winning a frantic French Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton's main rival Charles Leclerc threw away his chance with a dramatic race-ending crash. Leclerc looked set to control after leading early from pole and had withstood Verstappen's onslaught before his race and championship bid took a huge turn on the 18th lap thanks to a costly unforced error. The monegasque driver lost control of his Ferrari car at turn 11 and spun it into the barriers, prompting gasps from a sellout crowd and a huge outcry of emotion from Leclerc on the team radio. That propelled Verstappen into the lead, one he capitalised on with a comfortable victory to extend his championship advantage over Leclerc to 63 points. Verstappen won from Hamilton in his 300th races. Mercedes enjoyed a super Sunday with their 7-time world champion starting well and easily holding off rivals behind to take second, his best finish of the season. Russell made it a double podium for the Silver Arrows after passing Sergio Perez with 3 laps remaining, catching the Red Bull driver cold after a late VSC and then holding off a late charge. Carlos Sainz was 5th after a fine recovery from the back of the grid but deserved more. The Spaniard had advanced to 3rd before a Ferrari and another odd strategy decision pitted him with 10 laps to go. Sainz also had to take a 5-second penalty due to an unsafe release in the pits and he couldn't make up places in time before the 53rd and last lap. Alpine and McLaren continued their fierce midfield battle behind with Fernando Alonso, who got ahead of Russell at the start, a solid 6th ahead of Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon overtook Daniel Ricciardo for 8th, making up for an early penalty after taking out Tsunoda. He was one of 4 retirements, as many during a combative race. This was the case too for the best of the last points position too, with Lance Stroll, Sebastian Vettel battling all the way to the final corner. But anyway, it was all going so well for Leclerc until it wasn't. The 24-year-old paid the price for what has played his impressive career so far, mistakes. Leclerc led from the start, and while Verstappen had DRS and much better straight line speed, the Ferrari driver was able to keep him at bay, and the gap grew again before the Red Bull's championship leader came into the pits on lap 17, signalling their intentions for a 2-stopper. Ferrari didn't respond immediately to hint at a 1-stop, but Leclerc appeared comfortable before disaster struck. Leclerc got on the curves at the exit of turn 11 and spun and stuck it in the power barrier. He screamed over the team radio, no. He also complained of a throttle issue, leading to many to believe it was a Ferrari issue that caused the shunt rather than Leclerc mistake. But Leclerc, ever self-critical as ever, said afterwards it was a simple mistake. Now, well and truly on back for an title race, I've been saying I think I'm performing at the highest level of my career, but if I keep doing my mistakes, it's pointless to perform. At 7-11 and 25 here, so if we lose the championship by 32 points at the end of the season, I know where they are coming from me, and it's unacceptable. I just need to get on top of these things. But Verstappen, ever the opportunist, was never going to miss out after his rival's error. A safety car was brought out after Leclerc's error, and as the most grid pitted, Verstappen took the lead thanks to his stop just before Hamilton came out behind the Red Bull. Verstappen, after racing the restart, managed to race there and was virtually unopposed for the rest of the afternoon, checking the checker flag 10 seconds ahead, and it would have been one of F1's biggest title comebacks, seeing denied his 2nd straight crown now. He leads Leclerc by 63 points, more than 2 race wins worth with 10 races remaining. Whilst not a realistic challenge for Verstappen, Mercedes had a superb French Grand Prix. True to 2022 form, the reigning Constructors' World Champions were much faster on Sunday than they were over 1 lap, and Hamilton, after passing Perez off the line, took 2nd. The result was all the more impressive in the revelation he was without a drinks bottle during the sweltering conditions. There was a thrilling fight behind, which looked set to be won by Sainz. He came through the fields from 19th and then passed both Russell and Perez for 3rd place, but it was just 10 laps remaining. Ferrari, who tried to call him in during his fight with Perez, brought Sainz into the pits, having to serve 5-second time penalty for unsafe release during the safety car that cost Sainz nearly half a minute. He emerged in 9th and did well to get back to 5th in the end. This allowed Russell to battle combatively for the final podium place. Perez was ahead with 3 minutes remaining, surviving a lunge from Russell as the cars made slight contact, but after a VSC, the Mercedes driver got much better restart and easily sailed past the Red Bull. Perez had DRS from now on, but couldn't make the move. But yeah, what next for the 2022 F1 season? Well, we don't have long to race because the next race comes from Budapest in Hungary at a 2 p.m. start. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Hopefully we get a crazy race like we did there last year. And before I go, let me run you through the order from today's race. And yeah, Max Verstappen coming out on top, a dominant victory for him. Thoroughly deserved. Obviously, he didn't make the mistake and just was dominant out front, so not much more you can say from him. Hamilton in 2nd, a real star of the weekend for me, outperforming that car, and yeah, to hold off the Red Bull as easily as he did was just so impressive. Russell as well in 3rd, bit of a recovery effort, and brilliant job, and caught Perez napping, who was, for me today, he was just really poor, Perez. It seems the car's going further and further away from him, but, he really should be outpacing the Mercedes with the car he had. As for Sainz in P5, I think he should be happy with that. He may be gutted to miss out the podium for, let's face it, a strange strategy decision from Ferrari, but yeah, it is what it is. Alonso in 6th. Great job from him. McLaren seems to be faster this weekend, so for him to become top of the midfield is a great effort from him. Norris, I think, will be slightly disappointed not to come ahead of Alonso, but still a solid result. Ocon, good recovery from qualifying. Ricardo, ninth, kind of in a lower points position where you'd expect McLaren to be at the moment, really. I mean, and then you've got Stroll in 10th and Vettel in 11th. Obviously a bit dicey towards the end, but Stroll, good for him to get a point off for a tough few races, and hopefully that can build their confidence, because Aston Martin seemed a bit more competitive here. Then you got AlphaTauri's Gasly in 12th. Just seemed like a bit of an anonymous race for him, really. Not too much chance of points, just a disappointing one. Albon in 13th. He was up in 11th, but just dropped back. But I mean, considering how poor the Williams is, I think he did a solid job. Bottas in 14th and 16th. Joe obviously DNFing, but still classified. Just a really, really poor race for them. Just seem to have no pace. Now for really have gone down the pan a bit recently, so they'll be disappointed with that. Schumacher in 15th. Had the contact with Joe. Wasn't his fault. But still frustrating for him. And then you had Latifi and Magnussen with that collision. Maybe Magnussen's fault slightly there, but it is what it is. Tsunoda as well, disappointing. He was taken out for no fault, so he'll be gutted with that. And then Charles Leclerc, what can you say? He was driving so well out front, and then made that mistake, and you just simply cannot afford to do that in a title battle. And that really will cost him dear, and it's unfortunate. But to be honest, I think it's pretty much as good as title over now, really. But anyway guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, post lots of comments down below. Follow and subscribe for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, subscribe, and I'll be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.